Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to tonight's episode of Late Night Q&A with ZodWriter. This is episode 88 of Late Night Q&A, and I have the pleasure of welcoming my good friends from our Nostalgia Power Saturday morning YouTube show. This was Jester Tester, the Bad Guy Mike Werley, and my good friend PD7. And here we are.
What's up, guys?
On a live stream together, about to talk a little bit about a little bit about everything. A little bit about, I think, we'll talk about Nostalgia Power. We'll talk about, the big snowstorm. We'll talk about some arcade one-ups, my arcade, everything. We'll talk about it all here today on tonight's episode of Late Night Q&A. But I wanted to start off with, because you guys, we've been streaming together now for something like 15 weeks. What are we on now?
Yeah, we're on 15 this Saturday.
15 weeks if you count our prime time episodes.
Yes, it would be 17 streams.
So that's 17 streams straight away with no,
we go all the way back to last year, right?
Yeah, we do.
no breaks, we haven't stopped. And one thing I find remarkable about Nostalgia Power is nobody has missed a show. We've all been there no matter what. And we've faced adversity a few times, but nobody's actually missed a show. It's been brilliant. Go ahead,
Spoiler alert, I might miss 2 in February when I go out west. We're gonna run into it next. You just mentioned
we're gonna have you on your cell phone so that you don't miss.
I might be flying.
We're gonna have grainy Phil broadcasting from an airplane.
From the airplane.
we might have to get garage over to Phil. Maybe he can get up that early.
Yeah.
I kind of look at it like this, and this is the way I don't know, guys. This is the way I've always done it. If I'm doing a show and I got, and I'm with a bunch of people, and then there's a couple people who can't make it or whatever, we always, it tends to be, it's always a dilemma. It's like, do you not do the show? Do you reschedule, or do you press on even without the people that you? And I just think it depends on the show. And us, and all four of us, we were such. We're so good together in terms of what we do with Nostalgia Power. I don't see, it's just wild to me. It's like, I don't see how we do it.
It wouldn't seem right.
No.
Right. It wouldn't seem right. If
a second marriage, right?
We're like the earlier Beatles. We're all getting along pretty good here.
Yeah, I don't see.
God, don't use the Beatles. Somebody's gonna go down.
Oh boy.
Yeah, the Beatles.
Oh no, I don't want to be. I'm not John.
Yeah,
I'll be George. I got dibs on George.
Oh my God. I like how it is, like, the whole chemistry aspect. I mean, I get a lot of, because I do my, my live stream with APAS. We have our show together. I don't get it. And everybody always says, the two of you guys, got great chemistry together. You guys are always, and it's like, yeah, I said, and we're in constant communication with each other. Kind of like what we are with our group chat. It's like we're in constant communication with each other. Like APAS, I don't think APAS and I would go more than a day without communicating something, even if it's just something that we want to share with each other or whatever, because we're so in tune with each other with what we want to do for our streams and what we're talking about or whatever. And what I'm trying to say is that kind of thing you really can't fake. When you either have a chemistry and it works with somebody or it doesn't. And that's one of the things that I've been most proud of since we started doing Nostalgia Power together. I mean, the whole idea was, we want to do something to help, build up, Mike's channel and get Mike up there, prominently amongst all these crazy home arcade YouTubers. And it just seemed like, the best possible thing we could do. And now look at you, Mike. You're over 500 subs.
Yeah, I've been reaping the rewards.
You got the reality. You got
made a big difference.
The thing, and not only that though, you're continuing to grow, man. That's what we're all doing. We're all continuing to grow, not only as content creators, but in terms of subs, in terms of, in terms of views, if that stuff is important to you. I look at it like I don't really put as much emphasis on those kinds of things, because for me, it's like I do it because it's important to me and I enjoy it. And that's the number one reason why I do it. If I didn't do it, I would rather find something else to do that I liked more, if I was really going to obsess over little things that I can't control. So I always look at it like you do the best you can. You put out the best possible content that you can. And that's what I feel like we do every week. I feel like we put out the best possible content we can put out, even if we're not.
It's a team effort. I mean, it is across the board. Everybody contributing to the show,
whether it's coming up with ideas or doing little segments here and there. I mean, everybody has a hand in it.
You brought up chemistry too. Look how important that is for like movies and television, right? If the actors don't have chemistry together, it's not a good movie. It's not a good show.
And you feel like you can tell when something is forced,
Yes.
They sold that pretty good on Dirty Dancing, though, because those two didn't get along. Patrick Swayze.
Well, I guess that's what.
I did not know
that's true. Yeah.
They had that. They had that. You know what it was? They had that. They had that chemistry, whether they realized it or not. They had a chemistry in spite of how they may have personally felt about each other, and it's kind of like. It helps though, if you're all working together like that and you all like each other and you're very cordial towards one another and you don't have any issues. And that's the thing. Like I don't, that's the way I look at, when I don't get it with APAS. We don't have any of those issues. We're always on the same page. We both contribute to everything and we both are focused on what we're doing, and we both have a deep respect and appreciation for each other. And I feel the same about what we do with Nostalgia Power. Nobody is disrespectful to anybody. We all contribute. We're all doing our thing, and it just comes out great. We can, and I've said this a bunch of times before, we can literally talk about anything. So it sort of makes it sort of makes it easy from week to week. And not only does it make it easy, but it's, at least for me personally, it's a very strong motivation to get up early in the morning. Getting up early in the morning, knowing I'm going to hang up on a Saturday, going to hang out with you guys after a long work week, going to get up on a Saturday morning, hang out with you guys and just talk.
Relive the good years, right? The glory years.
I mean, not only that, we're constantly going at scumbags, and to me,
I can't click on it.
I know.
Was your finger ready to do it, Mike?
I'm ready. Like, oh wait, I can't do it.
That's the thing, and I don't even, So I look at the whole thing and I say to myself, my God, guys, we're trying to, we're doing a good job building something, and we don't have the viewership of a P Dubs or a Michael B, but Rome wasn't built in a day,
right?
And you got to take your time, but it's been going up steadily.
17 episodes, guys. I mean, I thought it was 6. Honestly, time is flying.
It did go fast.
Doesn't it feel like 2 weeks ago that I lost my power and we were scrambling around? That was episode 2.
Oh yeah, that's right. How about that?
How long ago that
I'll never forget that episode, because Phil calls me up and it was just like,
I freaked out. I was worried.
Channel? And I'm like,
the second episode, what horrible timing.
No,
right? Trying to get off the ground a little bit. And
I remember Michael B telling Biggie D on Super Game Room Dudes almost a year ago. Was that when, if you remember, when Biggie was on Super Game Room Dudes, and he said it's all about timing. And if you're going to start something, do it that day every time. And that's for me doing the walk and talks every Monday. Like if you get, other videos throughout the week, that's like bonus. Every Monday, like it's like we have to have a video. Same with Nostalgia Power, like we have to be ready Saturday mornings, like that.
Make it into a routine,
schedule,
right?
Having a schedule.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm so worried about those those two shows that you might miss, Phil. I'm kind of looking at it like this. I'm like, well, gee, maybe we should, like, I don't know, pre-record those episodes.
I think that if one of us can't make, I think it'd be a good time to bring somebody in as a guest. I think that'd be fun. Somebody like Toxin or Garage Gamer.
That's
what
I
anybody.
was thinking too. Like you could because Toxin and Garage Gamer, they made their appearance on an episode recently, and they did a great job. It was fun. I think we brought them in. We brought them in on prime time though.
Yeah.
And that's the difference. A lot of times, with our show, because it's so early, and that's the thing, guys, the uniqueness of it, the fact that we do it so early in the freaking morning, right? It's like, nobody's competing with us at that time. So you're having people that are coming in and but it's
it's something different. Even if you're not up on Saturday morning, you can always catch it on the replay. It's just nobody else was doing it on Saturdays, and that it's just being creative, and I think that's what Nostalgia Power was based off of.
Yep.
Trying something different, bringing back something we all enjoyed.
Yeah, I mean, it's like there's a uniqueness to everything, and I kind of look at it like this: there's got to be a uniqueness to everything that I do. Like when I did, when me and APAS do I Don't Get It, that's a very unique show. I look at that as something that's unique. It's a male-female dynamic. It's very different from what you see with a lot of, YouTube live streams these days. And so I think it actually works. And then I look at what we do here, and we do our early morning thing, and it's Saturday morning, and we're bringing back a happy time from childhood, and reestablishing that, and essentially, like Mike always says, we're taking it back here, and guys, it just makes so much sense, because if you want to make your mark, you got to do something that's going to make you stand out. It's beautiful.
Nostalgia could be about anything. That's the beauty of it.
It's
long reaching, literally about anything.
Exactly. And so I wanted to kind of, because now that we're all here on this late night Q&A platform, I wanted to take the time to, kind of pick all you guys' brains about, what you thought initially about the idea for Nostalgia Power. Again, I guess I can start since I'm hosting, but with me, it was when Phil had come to me about the idea. It was so funny because I'd wanted to talk to Phil because I had a dream about doing some type of show, some type of weekly live stream along the lines of what we were doing, what Nostalgia Power ultimately became. And when we started talking about it, it was amazing, because then Phil was like, well, I got this idea, and this is what we're planning. And he's like, I got these couple of people so far, and I want to bring you in over here. And I mean, it was just amazing to me.
We talked for about an hour and a half that day.
Yeah.
I had the day off. I forgot it was a holiday, I think.
Yeah, I called you up because I had a dream.
I was in this room. We talked, like I was pacing around this room. We talked for a long time. We were excited.
It was early in the morning, and I was just I couldn't believe it. And I was like, man, this is going to be great, because there were so many ideas and things that were flowing through. And when and the way you and I talked about it, I just was so excited. And I knew, because I didn't really know Mike. Mike, I'd interacted with you a few times in chats and things, but you and I had never actually formally introduced each other. Same with Jesse. I'd been watching Jesse's stuff, seen his YouTube stuff, but I had never, I'd never actually interacted with you guys like that. But I was just amazed at how well we all ended up gelling together when it came time to actually do the show. So for me, it's exceeded my expectations already as far as where I thought it would be. And like we've been saying now, it's hard to believe we've done so many episodes. So Jesse, I kind of want to get your view right now about where you were I mean, what your view of it all was when this got started.
Well, I kind of mirror exactly what you just said, but I think the thing that stood out to me the most was when we talked about it, it was going to be about purely nostalgia. I thought it was an awesome idea. Because there's so much content to talk about, right? You're not stuck in that bubble of just trying to, just come up with the same thing all the time. So there's so much to talk about. But what was also great was between the four of us, we span quite a different number of generations, which brings up a lot of different conversations in itself, right? So like some of the things that I go back to, probably in black and white. No, I'm kidding. But but that was the best part of it, that there was just so much content that you'd be able to talk about. And I think and nostalgia, just it's what this is all about, right? I mean, why we even got into the arcade 1-up and all these things, it's all about nostalgia.
I mean,
for some reason it just seems
you got more than just arcades behind,
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, you see Boris Karloff up there and everything else. I mean, it just spans so much time and just, reliving all of that. It's great. It's just been awesome,
Absolutely. And you, Mike, same question. What were your initial thoughts, and where were you in terms, because I know you had a lot invested in the initial idea, so I really want to hear your side.
I was really, really excited. And I mean, again, I'll give Phil all the credit on this one, because he was the one that approached with the initial idea, and me like starting just barely getting my feet wet in YouTube, was focused on the home arcade stuff, which I love, don't get me wrong. But, if you've seen some of my collections back there, I mean, I'm more than just home arcades. Like, nostalgia is a big thing for me, because I collect console video games and magazines and action figures and movies. I mean, you name it, I probably collect it. So when this idea started getting thrown around, I mean, I was 100% on board and totally dedicated to it, because that to me is something that I would love to talk about, because as Jesse said, and as you said, I mean, the possibilities are pretty much endless. I feel like we'll never run out of content. We'll never go stale. I mean, and the four of us throwing ideas around and then just getting to talk about this kind of stuff every week, it triggers stuff in your brain that sometimes you completely forgot. And sure enough, bam, there, you get that nostalgia feeling. And it's something, like you said earlier, I really look forward to getting up Saturday morning and jumping on behind the camera and talking about this stuff. The 2 hours, the hour and a half, 2 hours that we stream, it goes by like that.
Yeah,
always.
Yeah.
It's funny, because it's almost like how Saturday mornings were as a kid. It's the same kind of thing. You get almost that same type of dopamine level where you're just like, you're excited, you're seeing all these things, and I feel like it's great, man. I get to get up on Saturday mornings and hang out with my buddies. It's like perfect.
And then blink and it's noon,
Then it's all over. We all go on about our lives and whatever we got to do.
You get giddy and silly, right?
And then we come back the following Saturday. So Phil, for the watchers and the people that are going to catch this on the replay and stuff, because everybody and their grandmother's streaming right now. So I expect this to be, bigger on the replay. But as the architect of this whole thing,
I wouldn't say architect. We all came in this together. I just thought Saturdays would be a good day, because
I love it, Phil.
You don't want to step on anyone's toes. Like, everyone streams.
Would be good.
There are days that people stream every week. It's the same. And what day weren't they? Saturday mornings. And I thought, hey, you know what? Let's try it. And people are like, it's going to be tough.
We're all awake, and and the thing is, we're all used to it now. So it's not even right. So even if it was a little bit of an issue initially, we're all used to it. We're used to each other. So it makes it, again, going back to the motivation of, I got to get up. I want to be there no matter what. I try to go to sleep early the night before if I can, but if not, I set my phone alarm to wake me up. and time to jump up and do it, make some coffee, make some hot chocolate, whatever, and get ready for the show. It really is. It really does feel like a friendly routine.
It is. I mean, we're just hanging out. Exactly. Yeah. The thing about not just arcades, just nostalgia in general, toys, action figures, like 3 years ago, I'd be embarrassed going in a toy aisle at Target, at Walmart, people seeing me. Now I get so excited, like I don't even care. Like I'm like
pushing the little kids out of the way.
That was my excuse.
That's what this show is. Like it's so exciting.
When I had my daughter, that was my excuse to go to Toys R Us and everything. I was looking more at stuff for myself than I was.
Listen. I used to hang out with my best friend from childhood growing up. We used to go after, long after our school, long after our high school and college years. We would still go until Toys R Us closed down. We would actually go. We'd hang out on the weekends or hang out whenever we were off of work, and we'd go to Toys R Us. We'd go to these places. We would do essentially walk and talks like what Phil is doing, except we wouldn't be filming it on YouTube. We would just be walking with each other, doing this whole thing. And I remember, and I don't know, there's a movie that I highly, highly recommend you guys check out if you can find it. There's a movie directed by a good friend of mine, Robert Meyer Burnett. The movie is called Free Enterprise. And I don't know if any of you on the panel have either heard of it or seen it before, but if you watch that movie, it's essentially everything we're talking about, nostalgia power in a nutshell. It is so great.
That's the nostalgia power notebook right there.
Nostalgia power notebook right here.
See, I need to get that.
Wow.
I just have a stack of computer paper sitting beside me, and I just take.
A
notebook would probably be far more effective.
What was the name of that movie? Free
Enterprise. Yeah, haven't seen it.
Free Enterprise, and what I'll give you just a spoiler-free synopsis of what it's about. It's basically about these two guys that grew up, that never actually grew up. And their lives revolve around they're big science fiction movie fans, and their lives revolve around around Star Trek and Star Wars and all that kind of stuff, and they're basically, both of them are at a crossroads in their life, and they're trying to further their careers and things like this. And it's the nostalgia. They're hanging out in a bookstore together, and they bump into Captain Kirk himself, none other than William Shatner. And they find William Shatner in a special aisle of the bookstore looking at a dirty magazine. And they realize that, you know how they say never meet your heroes.
Yeah.
Well, it's sort of like that kind of a thing. And you get this whole subplot about them with William Shatner. You get this whole idea of nostalgia. You get this scenario where the main character meets his future girlfriend in a comic book shop, and he wants to get to know her. So what she does is they get into an argument over who's going to buy, how he meets her. They get into an argument over who's going to buy the new Sandman hardcover that was out at the time, the DC Comics Sandman hardcover. And so what she does when he wants to ask her out on a date, her name is Claire. What Claire does is she goes into the expensive rack of comic books and just randomly pulls out the first appearance of Wolverine. You know how much that comic book is worth?
Is that the one where it's like
whatever the very first appearance of his character was? She takes that comic book and writes her phone number on that comic book in a Sharpie. And he has to borrow like $15,000 or something from his friend to buy the comic.
To sell
book.
His Stern pinball machine.
So that he has it is amazing. Like, you guys, honestly, and you'll see you know, you'll see little shades of some of these other YouTubers and stuff. You'll see some of that, the carelessness and like the carefree actions. You'll see a lot of that, but definitely Free Enterprise. That's a movie that I've been a big fan of it. I've seen it for I've watched it quite a bit, you know, and I'm a big fan of Robert. I've known Robert for many years, and this is and I think this movie is something that you guys will really get a kick out of, because
what year was that?
It came out, I want to say it came out in 94, if I'm not mistaken.
Every time,
or it might have been later. It might have been 99.
She said her name was Claire. It just brings me right back to Breakfast Club. Do you remember when she said her name is Claire, and he said Claire? Claire's a fat girl's name.
See.
Every time I hear Claire, it just brings me back to Breakfast Club. I don't know.
Claire is gorgeous. Like, she is like it. Actually, I was wrong about the year. It came out in 1998.
I was thinking 97, 98.
1998. It is again, it is a fantastic film. And you guys, I think, you know, it'll tie in with Nostalgia Power. There's actually a scene where the two main characters get together with their group of buddies, and they're walking through a Toys R Us. And this little kid walks up to the Star Wars action figures, and he pulls one of these Star Wars action figures, one of these, like, you know, characters that nobody knows about, like Zangor or something. He pulls it off the shelf. He's like, oh, they got Zangor. He pulls it off the shelf. And the main character goes up to him, puts his arm around him, and says, come here, kid. We got something we got to talk about. It was like picture perfect out of like all our childhoods. I'm telling you, if you see this, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Then there's a scene where one of the girlfriends leaves the main character, and basically she bought him one of those shuttlecraft Star Trek Hallmark ornaments for Christmas. And because they broke up and she doesn't want nothing to do with him, she takes the ornament back. And he has a complete like mental meltdown about her taking the ornament. And it was something else, guys. You guys are gonna love it. I think you guys will.
You guys ever watch Ghosted? I just watched that last night.
Ghosted?
With what's his name? Ryan Reynolds and Chris Evans.
No, I don't think so. That's a fairly newer movie, isn't it?
2023, yeah. It was all right. It was kind of cute, you know.
So the movie's about the arcade one-up community.
You guys ever remember the story where the guy, he lived in Toys R Us and nobody knew about it for years?
Yeah.
Hold on. What's the one where they lived at Target? They spent the night in Target. Guy and a girl. The whole movie's about they're in Target the entire movie.
That I don't know.
And it's like 88, maybe 91.
There was a movie with Dane Cook that they did something like where he was like a cashier.
Earlier than that. They were like, employee of the month. Employee of the month.
I forgot about Dane Cook. Yeah.
He kind of. I don't know.
Yeah. Where were you going with the Toys R Us before you just sparked?
No, I was just because we brought up Toys R Us. You know, it was just a story that he lived in this one section that nobody knew about, and he had a bed and he had it all set up, and he would stay there during hours when it was going. He had cameras in there, and he would see everybody that was going around and everything. And then when they closed up, he would come out and he would wander around the store and everything. And he did that for years, and nobody ever knew he was there.
That'd be awesome.
He eventually got caught, though.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, how long could you go?
Took him long enough, right?
Yeah, but it was years.
Well, it's kind of like
he had like his own little apartment in there.
He did,
like a cubby hole, and he was able to. It was amazing how he was able to live and everything. I mean,
what did he do? Just like get out and start riding bikes around or something at night, or?
Yeah, he would just use it to, walk around, get some exercise and everything else.
I guess it's better than living on the streets.
I guess, but you had to see the setup he had, the bed, and he made it all like an actual
And
room,
how-
like really set
What
up.
was security up to that they never?
Yeah, what was that
They
about? Yeah,
never
really.
discovered this.
Honestly.
You know what? The terminal with really changing subjects with Tom Hanks. Does he live in the airport that entire movie? Like, did Zod? You've seen the terminal, haven't you?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think of the movies where
I think the
somebody's
movie is-
living.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I think I've seen that. I thought that was
I think that was the message of the movie, that he was living at the airport the entire time.
Who'd you say was in that? Tom Hanks?
Tom Hanks. I think Catherine
Yeah.
Zeta-Jones is
Yeah.
in that too.
I do remember that.
actually was talking to my buddy about, like, I was thinking about watching it. I want to know what the whole purpose of that movie was. I've like caught bits and pieces of it.
Yeah, was it like a true story or something like that? Or
Yeah, I heard
Probably
it was
after
a
the
true
guy at
story.
Toys R Us.
I feel like if you was a busy enough airport, you could probably, if it was like Atlanta or something, you could probably get away with it, right? Like,
You're
just
right.
because of the amount of people that go through there.
But how
Yeah.
terrible would it be to live in an airport, though?
Yeah.
Messiah's Gaming says, I know of people who lived in terminals. That's not unheard of. Yeah, I don't actually know of anybody who did it, but I've heard stories. And the Toys R Us one was really deep. I mean, the guy had a girlfriend. He was fooling a town. He was basically trying to get away from his past crimes and was trying to hide out. He used to rob banks.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why he was at the Toys R Us was because of the proximity to the bank. So it was all about, trying to get in and get out before he could get caught.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was a bank
That's
robbery.
crazy.
This was how he was able to scout and see what the security was like at the bank, what the routine was. Yeah, it's pretty
Career
fun.
Career opportunities. 1991, where they stayed in Target all night.
Yeah, didn't know about that one.
No,
Jennifer Connelly's
Let me see. Career opportunities.
Career opportunities, 91. They spend the night in Target. The whole movie is about them just messing, fooling around, trying everything on, playing around inside a Target.
Jennifer Connelly, huh?
Yeah. Was she in the first Hulk movie? Is that who that is? Is she?
She was. Yeah. What was she?
I think.
I don't remember.
Now I have to know.
I think she's. Who is the sergeant's name in the Incredible Hulk side? We're crying out loud.
That was Sergeant. God, it's on the tip of my tongue. Oh God,
She was in Hulk, Phil.
She was in Top Gun too.
Yes, the new
one.
Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah.
I cannot think of his name.
I can't think of his name right now either.
Gosh.
Oh my God!
And he turns into the Red Hulk, which is
right.
a weird storyline.
Yeah. Oh, she was in Labyrinth.
Yeah, that's right. She was.
Ross. Isn't it Ross? Isn't it?
Yes, Ross. Yes.
Ross. Wasn't it Ross? Thunderbolt Ross?
Yes.
He was the one that turned into the Hulk.
Good call.
Yeah. I knew it was on the tip of my tongue, and I was confusing him. At first, I was confusing him with General Lane from Superman.
Sam Elliott, Messiah.
Lois Lane's father. But yeah.
He played a good. Sam Elliott played. Dude, he's what a great actor. I just watched The Big Lebowski a couple of weeks ago. He's kind of just takes the movie over when he shows up.
Toxin says, I had a secret room when I worked at Toys R Us, but it was for my breaks.
Usually just to like hang out and skip out of work. Ralphie's got it right. There you go. If you're gonna go live somewhere, a shopping mall, maybe not so much nowadays, but
you know what? That app, I think that'd be the best one.
There's a lot of like ghost malls, though, man, that you could probably get away with that. I mean, how many malls are
crazy blogger in there?
Naked.
Dude, I was just in one this past weekend for my kid's birthday party. They just built, it was in the early 2000s. They built this giant mall. mean, this thing is enormous, and there's nothing left in it. There's a handful of stores.
Wow, it's a shame though.
Yep.
Yep,
It'll be shut down probably within the next 10 years.
Yeah, that was the only problem with the online shopping.
Yeah, and you know what? The rumor was that Amazon was going to buy it.
Yeah.
How ironic is that? You know?
Well,
Was it going to be a full-on Amazon mall, or was it
like a warehouse? I think they were going to turn it into a distribution
Where's-
center.
no.
Kevin, where's Lincoln Mall at?
Yeah, Lincoln Mall's not too far from me. Well, it's been closed down for a while. It's not too far from me, and I used to go there quite a bit when I was younger. It was, but I mean, you got to figure that malls just couldn't compete with online commerce.
I know, but
It
you know what it
just
is?
can't.
You know what it is? It's nostalgia, guys. I mean, that's what a mall is.
Yeah.
It's just like that's why I go back there. Like I don't usually buy anything. Maybe if we go to GameStop or something, but yeah, it's just nostalgia.
One of the few
walking through
stores
there.
that was open in this mall was like a comic book and like a hobby collectible store. And of course, I walked through it.
There's a mall. My grandmother, when my grandmother was alive, she lived in Chicago, and we used to go to Fort City Mall in Chicago. I don't know if you've ever been to Fort City Mall, Phil, but
no.
Fort City Mall was another pretty big mall, and they used to have a comic book shop that I used to go to there called Moondogs Comics, and any time I ever had trouble finding a comic book that I wanted locally, anytime I go by my grandmother's and go over to Moondogs Comics in Fort City Mall, I would always find what I was looking for.
Now, do you ever shop?
Huge comic book shop.
Would you go to Michigan Avenue, Zod, when you were a kid? Did your parents take you to downtown and just do Nike Town and all that? Like,
I didn't really do all of that. I ended up, when I had my, my first girlfriend that I was steadily dating back then, we would go downtown. We'd go to like Navy Pier, and all that stuff, and we'd go to there was this shrimp place over in Navy Pier.
Bubba Gums.
That's where we used to go.
Gums. Did you go to Billy Goat's, the burger place underneath the street? If you're on Michigan Avenue, it was like a Saturday Night Live thing. So they had some skit in the original Saturday Night Lives in the 70s. You go down under, like where they filmed The Dark Knight, there's a burger place underneath Michigan Avenue. It's unbelievable. And they don't serve French fries. It's just potato chips. Kevin, you've been there, haven't you? Billy Goat's?
He's saying about Fort City. Well, Fort City is probably not safe now, Kevin. I'd agree with you. But back when I was growing up, it was fine. It was fine. We'd go there, and it was a nice mall and everything. But now, I don't know. I haven't been there in like decades, so I couldn't tell you right now.
Mike, have you been to Chicago?
Nope. I've never been out to Chicago.
Come here in April. We're going to Chicago, man. We're gonna hit some places up.
Heck yeah, man.
That'd be cool.
I'll fly out, crash at your place, and we'll take a road trip down.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna do the Midwest Gaming Classic, right? Zod, we got to meet up in Chicago in April.
Oh yeah, for sure.
We'll do it, Jesse. We got to get you out here.
I wish. Yeah, I got to get off the East Coast. This place is hell. Oh man,
sounds worse than Long Island.
Oh,
Yeah, Sockchuck, are you coming in October? Did you see that, Mike? That the Pinball Expo is the next meetup for AA.
Oh, okay. That's where they're going. The Pinball Expo. Where is that at?
Alcoholics Anonymous is going to go to the Pinball Expo.
Well,
why am I not surprised?
Looks like we're hey, there's other stuff there. I went there and got a good look at the Addams Family.
You did a good job. I'm not critical of you, Phil, because you do a great job. You're a documentarian, but some of these other people, I don't know what to say about them. They're all just.
I think there's other stuff than pinball. There were arcades. There were.
Yeah.
I had a Beatles album in my hand, and I actually took it from the video because I think there was some music going on. There was something.
I love, my favorite thing with you was when you went to that one, the Wisconsin State Fair, and you had that guy peddling arcades like it was,
oh my
like
gosh,
it was the greatest thing since sliced bread.
You had
the
good
arcades were.
That was fun.
Make your dreams a reality.
And you were like, hey, you can put in your house,
and you got him all excited. I
Oh
mean,
my
the dude probably had a throbbing boner at that point because you were like, how much?
Yeah, we're rolling. I mean, we got to get this. That arcade was, the thing is there was a 4-player multi-cade, and it was like a Ninja Turtle theme on the outside. And just picture arcade went up as tight as it is. You could still get 4 people. This one was like controls here and then controls on top of it. So like, how could you?
Yeah,
how could you play that? It was weird.
It's weird. Yeah,
But that's a state fair. I mean, you never know what you're going to come across at those expos.
No, it's like the guy selling snake oil.
Oh,
you never know what you come up with.
You talk about snake oil.
Yeah.
Phil and I went on the website afterwards, and the website is so poorly designed. I mean, you go on the website and you're like, who in their right mind would ever order anything from these people? It was just so poorly constructed, and the arcades all look like crap, and they were overpriced beyond belief. I mean, am I buying an antique Cadillac, or am I buying a multicade? What's going on here? It was bad. And the way that guy was like, and I think the joke I made with Phil was that the guy had moved up in his career. He'd started out work in the Tiltle Whirl at one of the.
I used to love that ride
at one of the little carnivals, and now he's peddling overpriced arcades at the state fair.
I mean, it's just like a Bobby Sarah inside of this cab. I mean, they were charging thousands of dollars for this. It was just massive.
Dollars, and the Bobby Sarah is way better. I mean, I don't even know if it had it might have been worse than it might have had like a pie in it, or one of those TV boxes. That's what a lot of these companies. I know that's what gaming room solutions. I know that's what they do. They use gaming boxes. They use these, which is basically these cheap Chinese TV boxes.
Yeah,
and they slap EMULEC on an SD card, and then they stick it in an arcade, and they build the arcade with like arcade 1-up type parts. But they'll do whatever artwork you want, and they'll charge you $800,000, $900,000, $2,000, depending.
It costs them $100 to make, probably
not even.
Maybe not even that.
That's why I say I don't even. I look at everything and I say to myself, my God, there's very few like ethical companies out there in terms of when it comes to arcades for people. Like one of the few people that I met when I was looking for my multicade that I wanted was, of course, Bobby Vu. I went directly to Bobby because I knew he could help me. I knew he could build me something that would fit my apartment. That was something that I wanted, and he built me this beautiful Mortal Kombat arcade cabinet that I cherish, that I will cherish for my entire life. And the thing is that if I would have gone to one of these other people, I would have been robbed blind.
Yeah. Well,
Bobby's like, I'll build it. Bobby's like, I'll build it for you, and all you have to pay me for.
He gave me the Bobby Sarah. Like he built it.
Yeah.
There's every game in the world on this thing.
Yeah, the Bobby Sarah. Yeah, the Bobby Sarah came later, but he's like, I'll only charge you. He's like, I'll only charge you shipping, and for whatever I spent on parts. I was like, Bobby, my God, I was practically crying when he told me that. Because Bobby is so giving and so
the busiest
generous
guy I have ever met in my life. It's crazy. Like he's probably working right now.
Yep.
He's so. I mean, I genuinely, to me, when I think about all the scumbags in the home arcade community,
I actually went to reach for it.
I look at Bobby Vu and I say, my God, he is like a true like gentleman, a true angel in the home arcade community.
You know how many times I say scumbag on a daily basis now at work?
Yeah.
Everyone's a scumbag.
It's part of our vocabulary now.
It's oh my God. Let's see. Kevin Clausen says PD7 console kits recorded a video buying alcohol with 19K Fox, and he said we are walking and talking. I commented and told them not to challenge the king.
Thank you, Kevin.
That's a great comment, Kevin.
Awesome.
In fact, I think I'm gonna go ahead and pin that comment because it's so good. I mean, come on. That's great. That's great. I mean, you're advocating alcoholism for Christ's sake, and then you're trying to spoof the great documentarian PD7. I mean, give me a break. Come on.
That is a trademarked name.
Was there a response to that comment or no? Was it just?
We're gonna have to do a follow up with McDonald's this weekend. Stockjock, he's getting me hooked on McDonald's. He started that whole breakfast kick a week ago.
Phil, you're killing me. You're killing me. You're killing me.
We're getting more bagels.
It was kind of like how I was for like a month and a half. I was like addicted to Taco Bell. I was literally getting Taco Bell at like
I went to that stage too with Taco Bell.
9 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, wait a minute. You want to hear his stories? Wait a minute. I got a Taco Bell story. Hang on. So years ago, I used to go into people's places to do work, and I went into this one apartment, this seedy kind of apartment, and there were boxes and boxes and boxes. There was no furniture in this apartment, nothing. It was just boxes upon boxes, and the boxes said Taco Bell, and I'm reading closer. I'm like, Taco Bell, and it says taco meat substitute. So this guy, he owned a Taco Bell, and this stuff is laying in the seedy apartment, and that whatever that was, whatever they called it, Taco Bell meat substitute. It was just bags, and I looked in one of the boxes. It was a bag just full of the Taco Bell meat, but it wasn't meat. It literally said it on the box. It was some
like
substitute
or something.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, but the boxes weren't refrigerated.
I was about going to ask that. Like, did they have to be refrigerated?
No, they were just sitting there. I was like, damn. Oh, God.
No wonder it doesn't sit well in your stomach. Usually,
exactly.
Who's had a taco at Jack in the Box? Because I heard they're you either love them or you hate them. And I don't know if they take the taco and just fry the whole thing.
Jack in the Box.
No.
When I go to California, Ralphie, we're going to Jack in the Box.
When I was in California, I ate at In-Out Burger, and I went to some really well-known chicken place out in California called A Pollo Loco. And they also have Del Taco in California, which is California's Taco Bell kind of. It's the same kind of thing, but the food is a little bit better. It's like almost, I mean, I don't know if they share I want to say that they share menu items and they probably share owners, but I mean, I don't know that for sure, but there's never been
what part of California did you go to?
I was Southern California.
Yeah.
I've been Southern California. I've been to San Francisco. I've been all over California, actually, to be honest with you, because because when I was younger, I was dating a woman in California, and it was like a long distance relationship. So we would only see each other a few times a year, and we had plans to eventually move in together, and it's a whole story. I think on Saturday when we talk about all our experiences, when we go to our Saturday topic, I'll bring that up and we can talk a little bit about that because it's quite a story.
That's like that Going the Distance, though. That movie with Justin Long and I think it's Drew Barrymore, where they're living coast to coast and they're trying to keep a relationship. I watch sappy movies, guys. They're trying to keep this relationship going.
You do it for her, right, Kelly? Or,
You know,
right, Phil? You do it for Kelly. Right?
Here's the thing, though. I
Getcha.
don't have a problem with I don't have a problem with a long distance relationship as long as there's an end game. As long as you know that you have set that timer that, hey, okay, it's long distance now, but we know that 6 months from now or however long it is, we are going to move in together, or we're gonna, change. One of us is going to change geography, because something has to give. You can't be in a relationship like that and not have, because then there's just too many other opportunities.
Yeah, how do you sustain that
locally?
for
You
long
can't
term?
sustain that. Eventually, you're going to meet somebody else, or your significant other is going to meet somebody else, and then this isn't going to work because I just met so and so, and it's more convenient locally. And honestly, that's the sad truth about a lot of stuff like that. You could literally meet your soulmate and have your soulmate be a long distance relationship, and then turn around and meet somebody locally, hook up with that person, and then you're going to forget all about your damn soulmate. So it's crazy. It's crazy.
Tough.
They're different.
It's crazy stuff. I don't know.
It is.
The movie Some Kind of Wonderful was filmed in my high school. That's cool, Ralphie. I'm amazed that show's still relevant. Like how? I don't know. I don't know. We I guess if we end up all getting together in April, like Phil is suggesting, we'll make a video going to buy alcohol, and we'll say we're doing a walk-in talk and see what happens.
Why don't we go to Cos MC? How do you say it? Cos MCs or the McDonald's
Cosmics, isn't it?
Cosmics.
Oh
yes.
yeah. The McDonald's drink place.
Kevin,
right?
we're coming to Bolingbrook, and
that would be
go
fun.
to Cosmics.
We should all do that. That'd be fun.
Let's do some crazy stuff.
That would be crazy, and that would be crazy promotion for Nostalgia Power too. We could
Talks and says, "Let's do it." Does that mean you're in?
Yeah,
that's like I've been hearing about In-N-Out Burger too. Everyone keeps telling me how great it is, but I've never
had that before.
Never had it either.
One of the best burgers I had was in the Detroit airport, and I think it was called the Mediterranean Grill. I had like a 3-hour layaway there, and when you get a good burger, it's hard to say that this burger is better than this place. Exactly. Like this is the best. A good burger is a good burger. And
yeah. Well, I'm addicted to them. My wife says I'm going to turn into a hamburger. Keep going.
I don't feel bad. There's a local joint next to me. It's called Pops, and they have a double cheeseburger, Jesse, that I will swear by any day of the week and twice on Sunday.
I'm getting hungry.
I can
eat that kind of stuff. I'm not young anymore.
Burger. I can eat that burger any day, man. Give me that burger and a Dr. Pepper, and I'll be all good.
Yeah.
Yes, Dr. Pepper. Right, like, you know what? My pet peeve is we mostly on Friday night we'll go to Culver's. You got Culver's in Illinois.
Oh,
right?
Yeah. Culver's is great too. I love their patty melts, bro.
It's good. I mean, it's more to go to McDonald's. Like if you get McDonald's will cost more than Culver's, and Culver's is kind of a step up. But you go through drive-through, you have no control over the ice. I want a lot of ice in my soda.
Like if we
dine in,
you're one of those types of dudes.
You got this much.
Ice. I want you get a little bit. She doesn't want any. I want the whole thing ice, and I get so salty if they don't put ice in there.
No. I tell them no ice because they scam you.
Easy on the ice, yeah.
Yeah. They scam you. Take one suck of the straw and it's gone. No.
Thanks, Messiah.
Tell them to put the ice on the side.
Yeah, can I get a cup of ice?
Get a cup of ice,
yeah. Messiah. There were a couple imitators, duplicators trying to
quite a few
trying to do walk and talks. I seen Biggie D trying to do a few. I seen we know Papa Brad with his weird puke filter that he put over the video, and he was walking around. I think he was walking around either a Five Below or a Dollar Tree or something, buying Cracker Jacks for Knicks. I don't know. But yeah, they all try to duplicate Phil, but Phil actually takes it seriously. And
we have fun.
but I mean, you do it in a way where
Was I wrong with the guy that couldn't find his car? Did you see the end of the last video? Like he couldn't find his car in the Costco parking lot.
Oh God, yeah.
I'm going to admit I've had that happen. I've had to set the alarm off. I'm going to be honest.
The way you said it, you were like the way you said it though, Phil. You were like a commentator. Can't find his car.
Ralphie's texting me going, I've seen it all at Costco. Like you wouldn't believe.
Oh yeah, I bet he has. For all he knows, somebody's in his Costco living there right now. I mean.
Oh, it's too.
Yeah, I never had it at a Costco's, but I had it at Giant Stadium. I couldn't find the car because it's huge out there.
Yeah, like 50,000 people.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to have, somebody's got to be living out of a Costco. I mean, heck, you could put together a couple of those XL Pac-Man cabinets, and you can
find them.
If you can find them, you can put them in the back. And that's probably where they are.
Okay,
the guy probably made himself a little fort out of those two.
Get a little sample Swedish meatballs.
Let's talk really quick about Pac-Man XL just for a second. They did good. I mean, everyone in the chat, the four of us, do we all agree, regardless of if you paid, what did I pay, $5.99, or you got it for $4.99, $3.99, they sold good because I think they're all sold out. I mean, what do you guys think in general? Like, how did the Pac-Man XL? How did it do? Shack Jam's still out there. We can buy Golden Tee. KI Pro's still in stock. Where's Pac-Man XL?
I think we talked about it. Pac-Man is going to be just their ace in the hole all the time, no matter what. I mean, I think Pac-Man's always going to sell. It wasn't no surprise to me with that because the cabinet was nice looking too. I mean, the XL.
Oh yeah, it looks
very authentic. That's a great big yellow one with the inverted screen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they bring more right now?
Right, because what's the next step after the XL? I mean, what could they possibly do to?
They'll call it maybe the Pro Max or something. That just came to me.
Summer Cyrus is right. Sit down.
I think the only way they could make it better is if they actually put a really good joystick in it.
The thing is,
because no matter what Pac-Man cabinet you play, for some reason, when I hit the corners, I just can't make the corners. It gets stuck, and it's not like if you feel it in your arcade, you never get stuck. It's just not smooth. Yeah, Now,
Kevin, what XLs you had the Shack Jam, and you totally reskinned it? What other do you have? KI Pro and Golden Tee. I think the Pac-Mans are sold out. I mean, they are in Wisconsin. I can't find any.
That's a good thing.
The double XL. Yeah.
There you go.
A double XL. Well, wouldn't a double XL be, if there was to be such a thing, would not double XL be essentially a commercial grade cabinet? Because what else could it be? If it's a double XL,
maybe we'll just call it the real thing.
Yeah, what would you do? It would have to be a 1-to-1 scale. Cabinet.
Quality has got to be off the scale on that thing, because that thing is going to be well over $2,000 double XL. Like, come on.
Just Phil, didn't you say the XL was damn near the size of the original cabinet, right?
The Pac-Man, yes.
Yeah, the Pac-Man. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I have Golden Tee. It's in the back living room, and it's a good size. I mean, it looks bigger than Pac-Man, but it's bigger than you think.
I'm starting to have a problem with my Golden Tee.
Do you have the XL or the?
No, I had the original.
So I went yesterday. I don't want to give away too much of this video, but I went to a store and they had everything. Okay.
Oh yeah, when you were peeking through the window at the end.
So I went in there and
like you were creeping. Like,
guys, this was crazy. Like, I can't believe that Wisconsin has all these arcade. I mean, I got lucky. Like, there's so many venues up here that were finding this stuff. But yeah, they had the original Golden Tee, and I've never seen one before. It doesn't have the bowling, and I've said this before. The reason I bought the Golden Tee is for the bowling. So all I play is bowling on there. I don't play any.
I wish mine would have had that. I probably would have played that more than
it's
Goldie.
fun.
Yeah,
Now, which bowling game is it?
World Class Bowling, I believe.
Okay, yeah, that's a fun one. That's a fun one. Messiah says, but here's the thing, guys. We aren't the only ones that they are trying to market to now. Imagine next year a kid turns 19 for the first time and wants one for his dorms. While 40-year-old men complain they're doing it again, they're selling out to a new age group. Yeah,
Yep.
That's entirely the point. That's
well,
what
that'd be great if a
be able to do.
19-year-old was if they were into it. That'd be great.
Well, see, I look at it like this, and I want to tell this story now because what you just said, Phil. Okay, my nephew that I gave my Defender Partycade to is 16 years old, and I got to see him over Christmas, and he could not stop thanking me and talking about how excited he was for that arcade cabinet that I gave him. He's telling me all the time that
it's
he's
the
like,
Catalina wine mixer.
He's playing, yeah. He's like I'm playing Tubin, I'm playing Sinistar, I'm playing, he's playing it. He's basically playing everything on there. His favorite game of all time is Root Beer Tapper. So he's playing Root Beer Tapper, and he's loving that game. He's loving Bubbles and all the games. And the thing that stuck out to me with everything that he was saying and all how excited he was for it, I couldn't be more happy that I decided to give it to him. But he was like, the only thing that I found hilarious was I said, well, what do you think about, Defender? Because Defender's the marquee title on the, on the game, that big, beautiful Defender marquee. He's like, it's okay, but Root Beer Tapper is my game. I play that more than anything, and I play this game and this game and this game, and I just found that to be hilarious. Like I was thinking, man, because he even plays Gorf more than Defender, so I was like, wow, okay. And they're all these games that are
I don't think there's a bad game on there.
No,
that's the thing.
It's wonderful, and
even though the controls are perfect for Defender.
Yeah.
The game lineup it's amazing. And
but I mean the level of excitement, and he says he plays it every day. So that to me goes back to what
the fact that he plays it, because I mean most of us just stare at ours,
16-year-old,
right? At 16 years old, his passions are essentially retro games and classic cars. That's what he's into. So he's like, and my dad is a big, classic cars nut. So my dad and my nephew are, they're like two peas in a pod because they go to all the auto shows together and that kind of stuff. And then how he bonds with me is through like the whole retro games thing and all that. And to me, it's like, it's just wonderful to see. And it goes to what Messiah was saying about a 19-year-old wanting to buy one for their dorm and getting into it. The more options that are available to be able to play these retro games, the better. This is why I was so upset with what was that company? That does the cartridges for the little handheld? What do they call? Evercade? Is that what they're called?
All right, yeah.
They put out some sort of post on social media slamming emulation boxes and emulation devices, Evercade, and they're talking about our stuff. Basically, what they were trying to say was something along the lines of our stuff is better than these cheap emulation consoles that you can buy. And in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, well, really, the Evercade is nothing more than an emulation console that just happens to have some official licenses. That's about the only good thing that you got going for you. It doesn't matter how you play these games, as long as these games are preserved and people have a way to get into them, so that the next generation, it carries over from generation to generation. We don't want to see these games disappear to history. You want these games to be, stuff that people can enjoy, can keep enjoying. And that's why for me, I I look at my nephew and I say, yeah, that is the way. Then I got another nephew that I was trying to get into Nintendo games, old NES cartridges. I bought him one of those handheld GamerTech handheld Nintendos where you can actually put a Nintendo cartridge in it and you can plug it in, play it on your TV, or you can play it as a handheld, and he loves it. I got him a couple of multi-carts, and I got him the NES game I like, Beer Slinger, and so he's been playing that, and he loves it too. And I'm trying to get all my nephews into retro
games.
And the thing is that
I just had my nephew in here, and he just visited for the first time. When he first came in.
And how old is he?
11. And his eyes lit up, right? So I'm like, oh, this is awesome. He's going to love this. He goes around and he starts playing all this stuff. And then I'm watching him and everything, and he seemed like he was into it. Then he turns to me and he goes, these games are boring. And I was like, I was so deflated after that. I was like, damn.
Going back to Roblox.
Yeah. I said, get the hell out. No, I didn't.
It's incredible. We got, and we can set that example. I mean, we buy all of these machines, we buy all of these games. Where's all this stuff going to go when we die? It's like, is this all going to go in a landfill somewhere, or is it going to be inherited? I mean, people, the thing is, looking at the big picture, I say, man, it would be nice to see these things continue, to see, these kinds of games be sought after 100 years from now. It's like,
I always tell Kelly, if something happens to me, don't take anything less than 200 for these things.
Oh my
Hold your ground.
You sound like me. I told my ex the same thing, Phil. I told her, I said, what you need to do is, when I have my cardiac arrest from ranting,
my inevitable
cardiac arrest from my ranting and crazy blood pressure, blood vessel popping rants that I go on. I said, you need to.
It's about James Gunn too. Like this guy it just gets that
one of these days.
One of these days. Oh my God! You know when it'll happen. You know when I'll have that cardiac arrest. I'll put out a link one of these days. It'll be like a link for somebody to jump on the stream, and James Gunn will jump on the panel. Then I'll really have a heart attack. Oh my God! But no, I was like, okay, and I was trying to tell her. I said, for the NES games, be very careful. I said, because some of the NES games are originals and some of them are reproductions. I said, and the difference between originals and reproductions, I told her, are as follows. If it's an original, it's in a plastic case that I bought for it. It's an original. If it's in a plastic case that I bought from one of those websites where you can get the cases.
And right now, it's already went right over her head. Like,
and
whatever she's looking Chinese.
She's looking at me, and I'm like, but if it's in an original case, unless it's a homebrew, most likely it's a reproduction. And she's like, well, what do you mean by reproduction? I said, well, and then I took Mighty Final Fight and Little Samson off of the shelf to give her an example. I said, these are reproductions. These are not authentic. And she looks at them. She takes them and she says, these look like these are the most original ones on the shelf. I said, yeah, they're supposed to look original. I said, but they're not. They're not the real thing. These are repros. But you can
you have to pull the card out. You have to use this little screwdriver. And
my God. Oh my God. It's insane. I don't know. I give up. I'm just like,
I know.
I'm just
dude,
like,
if I dropped dead, my wife would
probably
she'd probably pay somebody to come and take that stuff away.
I know. That's not how it works, Phil.
It'd be like
you can't sell your stuff. I go, yes, you can.
A state sale. It
Don't
would be like
give this away.
Oh. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You're not. It's hopefully we outlive all of it, because you're never gonna.
Eventually, and if that happens, it happens, guys. I mean, whatever we have, I mean, we're not gonna. I don't think we're gonna care.
And we're not taking it with us. So
right.
That's right.
We got to enjoy it now. So if you want to spend $7.49 for Time Crisis, you just do it.
Whomever I end up with, I'm going to tell her straight up, Phil. I'm going to be like, look, I'm going to be like,
it's a package deal, baby.
I'm like that Mortal Kombat machine that Bobby Vu built me. I'm like, you bury me with that son of a bitch.
My cast is going to be the size of a school bus. I just dump my NES shelf in with me as I'm laying there.
X-Men is coming with me. Okay.
That's what I want to ask you, Mike, because I know you're an NES collector. You collect NES games. I'm very passionate about NES games, but I don't have a huge NES collection right now. But how do you manage your collection? Are you one of those people that is trying to get a complete NES collection, or are you just focused on titles that you loved playing as a kid that you have nostalgia for, those you want to get, and then if you can get others cheaper sometime down the line, if you can, you do, but it's not that important? I'm always curious about that because I see so many people out there striving to try to find a complete North American, at least, NES collection, and I've always wondered that about you because I know you're big into the NES. So
that's how it started, just buying the games that I liked as a kid.
Okay,
and it just, like the home arcade thing, it started out with one and it just manifested into something a lot bigger. And I wouldn't say I'm like dead set on buying, like I got to get the complete collection, because I don't ever see myself paying like $700 for some of these games that, the prices for some of these sought after games are insane. $1,000, $1,200, $1,500. I'm just not going to do it. So I know I'll never own a complete collection unless I happen to stumble across one at a yard sale, but I'm kind of just out to see how many I can get at this point.
It is possible though, Mike.
Yeah.
I mean,
people have done it, and it's not, and
you never know.
You never know.
And for me, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Like I'm not out there every single weekend finding games. Everyone,
you're not out there garage sailing or anything.
No, if I get the itch, I'll buy a couple here and there. I watch videos and read books and stuff like that, and I'm like, oh, that game would be cool. Or will you play one on emulation? I'm like, all right, I want to buy this.
So how do you feel about home brews and reproductions? Do you care either way?
No, I'm okay with that. I have a couple reproductions on my shelf of Little Samson and Flintstones.
You and me both.
Because again, I'm not paying $2,800 for that game, so
I just like looking at it
from China.
Right, I like looking at it there on the shelf. Like I'm going to show you. I want to show you one that I recently acquired. Here, let me.
And I do have a couple home brews also.
If I can reach it from where I'm sitting. Okay, I recently acquired this. Akira.
Okay.
This is an English translated version of a Japanese Famicom cartridge, and this cartridge looks so badass. The black cartridge, with a phenomenal label on it.
And that's the problem with some of the repros. If you buy, the label quality usually isn't very good. They'll start peeling off. The cartridge just feels fake.
It's wonderful. And what I did was I bought the cartridge off of AliExpress, and then I went on one of the the case making websites. The guy Shane, I can't remember the name of it because there's like 3 or 4 different ones that I use, but I sent him a message to get him to make me an Akira cover for it, and he was able to do it, and it just came out looking so good. I realize now I could turn around later on and maybe flip this on eBay for at least a couple $100, because I've seen ones that look worse than the one that I have going for more. I've even seen one that's got the same cartridge, but it has like a cardboard box, and it released like it's classified as a homebrew, but it's actually just English translated. Like it's the same exact one that I have, and it's going for nearly $6,000. So I'm like, really,
that?
It just depends on the packaging and the presentation of some of these home brews, repros, translations, hacks, whatever you want to call them. And this just happens to be a fully English translated version of this game. And what this game is
it's a Famicom. Was it a Famicom game?
It was a Famicom game, and it's basically based off of the animated movie Akira. And it's a 8-bit retelling of that entire animated movie, and it's point and click. You point and click. Kind of like but it's almost like a visual novel. There's a lot of reading, but it follows the plot of the animated movie to a T from the beginning to the end. It is very, very faithful, but it's great. It's nice to sit there and play it on the NES, but you got to have a lot of time because you're going to go through the entire plot of the movie. So you can get through it in a couple hours, and it's kind of like, but I can see why it was never officially released, in the United States. This is something that would appeal to more of a Japanese audience. But it's nice that it's fully translated, and that a release was able to be
What do you think eBay gets for something? Let's say you sold it for $6,000. What are they taking?
Oh, they're going to take a good chunk out of it.
Yeah, I don't know what their percentage.
They're going to take at least. They're going to take close to $3,000. They're going to take close
almost
to $3,000, almost half of that. eBay robs people blind. It's impossible to.
I know, but how else? Look, Marketplace. I'm going to tell you, Marketplace isn't. I prefer eBay over Marketplace unless you're selling an arcade one-up.
Yeah, like maybe if something that somebody locally might buy from you.
There's too much. Just like, are you interested or not? Like, are you guys? I don't want to give up my entire Saturday waiting for you to make the decision if you're going to buy this $25 thing from me or not.
So it's better, like eBay. You just put it up there and
it's like
let them sort it out.
Ralphie, I have a huge Fist of the North Star collection, and I do have Fist of the North Star for the NES, complete in box, but I have a whole shelf dedicated to nothing but Fist of the North Star stuff. And I do have it. I also have the Sega Master System or Mark III version of Fist of the North Star in the box as well. And then I've got the treasure box version of Fist of the North Star from PlayStation 3. It was an exclusive, came in a big box, came with an alarm clock, an art book, all kinds of crazy swag. I've got that as well. And then I've got the most current game, the Lost Paradise, and all the home video releases and soundtracks. I mean, I'm a big Fist of the North Star nut. That's like my number one franchise. If I'm going to have any and everything, it's going to be of Fist of the North Star. So yes, Ralphie, you're speaking my language, man. I'm a big Fist of the North Star nut. It's crazy. But no, I mean, you gotta think about eBay, because eBay is killer.
I think eBay 10 years ago was awesome. All right, I sold a lot of stuff. 2000.
I used to sell stuff on eBay too. Yeah,
I agree with that. Back in the day,
I sold all my Power Rangers toys, which I regret, but I needed to at the time. 2008, 2009, and that's how I kind of got into eBay. All my toys as a kid that I still had, they went all over the world.
Them.
My Batmobile, Kenner Batmobile, went to Singapore. Like, I shipped everywhere. And now, like, you're trying to, like, every time we go out and see something, like, it brings me back to, yeah, I had those. And, like, do you start collecting that again? It's just, how much stuff can we pick up? But eBay used to be legit. Like, I used to really I saw Kevin's comment, like, it is ridiculous. Like, it's just,
it's designed to rip you off at this point.
They don't back they don't back you. Like they back the buyer more than the seller. It's just like, I mean, you're trying to be an honest, like when I sold on eBay, like it was a job to me. I would send the buyer the tracking number. I would ship right away. You're in constant contact because it's like you're working. Now it's just like, when are you going to ship this thing?
It's a scam. And what I used to run into, because I used to sell retro video games on eBay, and what I would find would be, if you had a rare game that you could sell on eBay that was expensive, I'd run into where I'd get somebody who would, if I had a buy it now option, I would get somebody who would buy it now and then ask questions about it after they made the purchase. And then they would say, oh, well, I changed my mind. I don't want it. And I would say, well, you already purchased it. And well, if you don't give me my money back, I'm just going to leave you negative feedback.
I know you don't want the negative feedback. That's the whole thing.
Then, right. Nobody will buy from you then.
What ticked me off the most was nobody. It's like, I can't think of anything to compare it to, but they don't give you a good rating. Like I should have had double what I had. Like that drove me nuts, because you see sellers with like 13,000 or whatever.
Oh yeah, the people that don't leave you anything, and yeah.
Like, come on, you guys. It's hard. It's hard to really get trustworthy when you're selling on eBay.
Yeah, I just sell stuff from time to time. If I'm like, all right, what do I do with this? Oh, maybe I'll.
You probably did, Brian.
That's the thing. That's the thing. My selling days are over. I won't sell anything anymore. I'm a buyer. If I really want it, I'll buy it. If I really want to get rid of it, I'll find someone to give it to. I'm not gonna.
That's what I do too.
I'm not gonna sell because I don't want to go through the hassle.
Yeah, now instead of selling,
deal with all the BS.
If you were gonna giveaway, if you were gonna start collecting toys, like right now, each of us, let's vote on one thing. What would you? We've talked about a lot in the last couple of months. What would you want to get into right now if you were going to start collecting something from whatever time period? What would it be? I'm going to go mask. I'm getting really interested in collecting mask. I don't know how expensive it's going to be, but I'm thinking about it.
I collect a lot of stuff. TMNT and Ghostbusters and G.I. Joes, but
I go from realm to realm.
Maybe like X-Men, Phil. You remember the old X-Men figures, like the
it's funny you said that.
Brooklyn I don't have Menace, too many of those.
Brooklyn, the Toy Biz brand.
Yes, yep.
Brooklyn Menace has every single one of them.
Oh, no kidding.
And I think they're in the package.
Man,
you know which line I would love to start collecting if I was going to get into action figures right now. Again, it would be those superpowers.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
Those would that'd be a cool one.
Do you get the McFarlanes? They're already in the box, or do you go for the actual 84, 85, 86, but they're going to be loose?
I don't know. I'd want to get them in packaging. I think I'd want to go with the current lineup just so that I can have them in package. Yeah. Have them on to put them on.
That's how I feel about Super 7.
Because I was thinking about Thundercats, but Thundercats would be an expensive line to get into, my friend.
I think any of this stuff is, and it's just like if you were gonna pick one thing, because I mean we see it all usually every week. Like we'll find some old Ghostbusters or something, but yeah, Mask. Like I wasn't really into Mask as a kid. I had the motorcycle dude. But I could see myself getting into that. Wasn't there like a base that they had? It's kind of like a G.I. Joe base. It was kind of like
I'm sure there was. There had to be. All those toy lines, they all had the big play set, right?
Silverhawks. Like I was thinking Silverhawks like 2 months ago. We found out how much those were. Like that was insane.
Yo, any of that stuff's going to cost you a lot of money. If you're buying original, and especially if you're buying it in package. I mean, those little 3-inch GI Joe figures go for $400 or $500 a piece.
Yeah, I was just going to say. I mean, everything collectible now has gotten completely out of control. I mean, I was getting into Necker products for a while. I wanted to get. Well, I got the
belt.
The 87.
Yeah.
I got the belt. I got the 87 Batman. I think he's 18 inches tall or whatever. That thing was like $300 some odd or something. And then I finally said to myself, "What am I doing? This is too much money."
What do you
now,
mean? What you're
know?
doing? You got the utility belt, man. We have dreams.
Yeah,
about
I know.
having
That's what I'm looking right at it right now. I'm looking at the
Oh my
Batman
gosh.
cowl, and I'm thinking to myself, what the hell am I doing here? You know, I mean,
I
it's
think
cool
that
and all,
sometimes
but-
too, when the thing shows up and I'm like, man, why the hell did I pay?
Yeah, that's
It's
what.
usually
Well, I get buyer's
$200
remorse.
It's
for
for
that
usually
that,
right
you
when
know,
you
like-
make the purchase, right when you enter your credit card number, you're like, oh my
Yeah,
god.
I do
You
that
get the
too.
guts to do it, you just do it. and
Oh
you're like,
yeah,
instantly buyer's remorse.
You feel that instant. You feel that instant
that was
buyer's
a-
that
remorse.
dread.
yeah.
Yeah,
I'm like, that was a foolish.
your hand
purchase.
starts shaking with the credit card. Like, what did I just do
You
here?
start thinking, oh yeah, I'm getting overtime next week. That's right.
Yeah, you're like, how many hours it took me to work to get that amount of money that I just spent? Just clicked away.
Oh, man.
I
And
just
then
want
you,
to
and then you
I just
convi-
want to eat out for a month.
and then you convince yourself. Like, I looked at the utility belt for a while. I'm like, this is cool though.
You
This
just
is
try to
cool.
justify it. To
And then I'm
yourself.
like, is it really though? Is it
It-
really?
it-
Like, if
yes,
somebody
it is,
took this
it is.
away
The
from me
utility
now, would I
belt
even
is.
notice?
Yeah, would I even care?
Yeah.
Would I even care? and then it just sits there for a year like you're one up. You don't touch it.
Pick it up, you blow the dust off it, and
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of
Yeah.
blowing the dust off, this is
Johnny,
okay,
there
go
is
ahead.
a massive snowstorm coming through. So I was going to go back and get that. Or the X. I keep saying it wrong. Mike, what is it? What's the X-Men?
the what?
The-
The oh my god, why am I drawing a blank?
The Blackbird.
The X
Yeah,
Jet. The X
Blackbird.
Jet, right? Okay, the Blackbird.
Yeah, the black.
I was going to go back. They had the 70% off, and I never went back. It was, I mean, what was it? $12? Like, how awesome would that be to get that Batwing? That thing was huge. If it's there this weekend, I'll pick it up for Toys for Tots and just sit on it and kind of do my collection throughout the next year. But I should have just grabbed it last week.
I was looking for the let me see what it was, but the thing was like, I don't know, $900 or something like that. What's that company that's been making, not McFarlane, the other one?
Hot
Super
Toys?
7. Super 7.
No,
Are you talking about Hot Toys?
no, Hot Toys has gotten expensive too, though. No, there was another one that was making it, but I mean, it's so screen accurate and everything. But it was
Sideshow Collectibles.
maybe that was it.
Hmm.
It's so ridiculous now, though. I said no. I have to put it into this.
Speaking of Super
Well-
7, did that Cat's Lair, did that thing take off? Like, could you actually get that thing? It's like the size of an 80-inch TV.
Did anybody ever get that
No.
that Optimus Prime that can talk and can transform?
Hey,
Oh,
no,
I would like to, but yeah, I think that was what, another
didn't
7,
B? I
800.
thought B had that.
I'm pretty sure he did. Yeah, he did or he does, because he's big transformer.
Yeah, they sent it to him for review, probably. You know, they get all that stuff for free. I wanted to, for a moment, I wanted to say here, Jesse, are you good or do you have to go? I didn't want to go over your time because I know you said you were.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna kick out about maybe 2 more minutes.
Okay, cool. Well, then I guess we can kind of, I don't know, we can kind of try to wrap it up a little bit then. And I guess we can start with you, Jesse. I mean, I know it's been quite an experience, and I'm definitely looking forward to more with you guys in the future with Nostalgia Power and everything that we have going on. So what are your final thoughts, Jesse?
No, I've been absolutely having a blast with it, all of you guys. I mean, it's really been, something to look forward to on Saturday. I really do look forward to it. Yeah, I've really loved every part of it. I loved reminiscing about everything, and the guys that's been, I shouldn't say guys and girls that's been in the chat. Has been
Jesse
absolutely
brings
awesome.
the ladies to the show. Let's be honest.
He does. He does.
It's not a lie.
Especially,
There's
You know,
no
here's
doubt
the thing.
about that.
especially in the chat after, in the comment section after the show.
They're too bashful to come talk
You-
live.
Just understand that maybe you guys do it too, but here in Jersey, when we say you guys,
You're
we're
referring
talking-
to.
we're referring to everybody.
Sure,
so,
yeah.
all right, so yeah, but the people in the chat been absolutely awesome. I mean, most of them get up at 7 o'clock in the morning to watch us. I mean, how awesome is that, right? So
Right.
I've loved it. I loved every part of it.
Yeah, I have too. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah,
You know,
and,
and we're just it's because we're passionate, and I think that's what connects all of us in the chat on the panel. We're just so passionate. So arcades, toys, cartoons, everything. It's like we are time traveling. Like we don't need
look
a
at this show.
DeLorean.
Look
We're
at what
Close
we
going
just
back.
did
close as we can
we
right
just
now.
talked about. We literally just talked about everything tonight. Tonight was just another one of those streams where we just talked about everything.
And bam, next thing you know, an hour and a half already.
And we'll be right back in what, 2 days?
2 days. We're gonna come
Saturday
right back
morning.
on Saturday. So
And Mike, give a little sneak peek. What's Saturday's show?
All right, we're going to try to appeal maybe to some of the younger crowd this weekend. We're going to talk about some 90s fads. So if anybody
90s
was a kid or kind of grew up in the 90s, there were some interesting things you may or may not have been into. Some of them were very short-lived, and we're going to touch base on some of that stuff, because some of the stuff I still currently own. So
cool.
might be kind of
I
fun.
wish I still owned it. Like some of the stuff we were talking about, you were texting a couple of days ago. I wish I still had it. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, definitely. And you know what? I want to thank you guys for being here tonight for Late Night Q&A. I appreciated the three of you joining me for tonight. It's always a pleasure. Any chance we all get to hang out together. I mean, from my perspective, I couldn't agree more with everything you guys have said. And I'm looking forward to the future and what all that we're going to do. 2024 is going to be a big year for Nostalgia Power. It's going to be a big year for all of us on all of our channels. So please,
and a big year.
I hope so. Right?
One up.
Yeah.
Well,
hopefully that too.
Hopefully.
We'll see. I mean, hey, and so on that note, guys, we're gonna catch you all Saturday morning.
Right.
Definitely, and I definitely come back here next Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Central. I will be back with another late night Q&A where I will have Messiah's Gaming on with me as for an interview for late night Q&A, and that'll be more of a traditional late night Q&A kind of interview show.
This Saturday?
No, that's next
Wednesday.
Next Wednesday.
Okay, cool.
That'll be more of a traditional late night Q&A episode versus this, which was just us getting together as the group of friends we are, hanging out like we always do. So that's what I kind of figured this show would be. So I want to thank you all for being here, and thank everybody in the chat. Thank you so much, as always. And we'll see you guys on Saturday morning.
Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you
guys. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.